put pressure on, so we'll see tomorrow morning.
An early start to day 2 with the performance of Group N crews a major talking point on the Stannic Asset Finance Rally.
I must say the competition is very stiff and very good in Group N. I think that's something for the future. If you take the money that we spend on the Group N cars and the amount of competitors that's beginning to go Group N.
The route for day 2 would again take crews into the Wellington, Wolseley, Tulbagh and Gouda areas before returning to Paarl for the final special stage. No other event on this year's Stannic National Rally Championship calendar will compete with a Stannic Asset Finance Rally when it comes down to scenery, but for crews there was a job of work to be done. The 26-second lead Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide held overnight was to turn out to be critical, and there was an early indication of just how competitive the last day was going to be when the Castrol Toyota crew and the Hubig-Judd combination posted identical times on the first special stage of the day. In Class A7, only 2 seconds separated Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding and the team total pair of Barry Grobler and Mike Burrows. This was another battle going on to provide a huge interest, and Chart van der Walt and Harding scored an early blow in special stage 9 when they picked up 8 seconds to extend a tenuous 10-second lead. The battle for 3rd and 4th was also delicately poised. At the overnight halt, Paolo Piazzamussa and Nick Hatton were just 12 seconds clear of team total pair of Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley. On stage 9, just 1 second separated the two crews, and there was only 2 seconds between the first 4 cars. It was going to be that kind of a day. In the Group N category, Hannes Grobler and Dave McGregor had just over a minute in hand over Diffie Murray and Donnie Duval at the overnight stop. All it takes for those sort of leads to disappear is a puncture or an off-road excursion, and team total crews Cliff Blackman and Johan Clausen and Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper were still in the picture. The fight in Group N was going to be interesting, but the first real drama of the day came when Jürgen Fecken and Dave Lukowitz ran into problems on stage 9, and Dirk Badenhorst and Gerald Grace in the City Golf took over the lead in Class A6. The gap between Murray and Duval and Saunders and Hooper was narrowed in stage 9, and the potential for drama was increasing all the time, although it had not always been plain sailing for Saunders and Hooper.
It started off pretty well. The first stage we took 3 seconds off Diffie and we were tied for the lead. And then from the second stage we didn't have an intercom, so it was a bit hairy on this fast stuff, you know.
Magnificent mountains on the outskirts of Ceres, and in special stage 12, a little hiccup for rally leaders Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide in a short and dusty stage. Fortunately, no damage to the Castrol Toyota Conquest, and the former champions picked up another 4 seconds on the VW Golf factory crew of Jannie Hubig and Douglas Judd, to now lead by 31 seconds overall. In the Class A7 battle, the gap between Chart van der Walt and the Grobler-Burrows team total golf had extended to over 20 seconds, but in stage 12, Grobler and Burrows managed to pull back 5 seconds, and this little confrontation was far from over. Onto special stage 14, and the Piazzamussa Haddon and Lawrence Paisley cameo was also far from over. Spectators at one of the vantage points were treated to a little bit of drama when Piazzamussa and Haddon got it all wrong. Sassel Ford Escort made violent contact with a gate post, and this little episode cost Piazzamussa and Haddon 11 seconds, with the gap between the pair and Lawrence Paisley now cut to less than 10 seconds. The scrap between Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding and Grobler and Burrows saw first one crew pick up a second or two, and then the other pair would immediately head back in the next stage. Just to alter the pattern, stage 14 saw 2 crews post identical times. A relaxed Hannes Grobler and Dave McGregor were still going like a train and inching further ahead of Diffie Murray and Donnie Duval at the top of the Group N leaderboard. Behind the Nissan Sentra, Italian crew Tony Ball and Alec Harris were on the comeback trail. 13th overall at the overnight stop, Ball and Harris were gradually working their way back into the top 10.
What happened? I just got it set up a bit wrong coming through a gate post and clipped the back of the car against the gate post.
Fix it all right?
Yeah, it's just cosmetical damage, you know. I got it just behind the wheel, so luckily no suspension damage.
A lone spectator perched on a rock was urging on Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide with the Castrol Toyota Conquest under a full head of steam. The Toyota pair now led Hubig and Judd by 28 seconds, but it was behind them that drama was about to unfold. Now only seconds behind Piazza Musso and Haddon, the team total pair of Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley were trying to exert maximum pressure on the Sassel Ford pair. Lawrence and Paisley had also built up a full head of steam when disaster struck with a huge accident captured here by the race cam in the Toyota Conquest. Lawrence and Paisley were lucky to escape unhurt, with the car a complete wreck. That was the end of their rally, with the Italians now assuming a spectator role as Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows came barreling along the road. Further back, there were new leaders in Class A6 and the team total pair of Craig Trott and Brian Duncan. And at a service area, Peter Burrows later caught up with Etienne Lawrence.
Etienne, a nasty moment there.
Yeah, we came over like a jump thing, and when we landed, the right rear control arm that holds the front one, that holds the wheel, broke, and the wheel turned sideways. That was after looking at the car, and then pushed us into a sideways drift for about 100 meters. I actually measured it off. It was 100 meters, like four wheels down the road, and then it veered off to the right, hit the bank, and then rolled off the road.
By special stage 17, the gap between Yanni Hubig and Douglas Judd and Damso and Bonafide was down to 25 seconds, and the VW factory pair pulled back another 2 seconds in this stage. The Class A7 fight was gradually swinging the way of the consistent and vastly underrated Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding, who, in a three-stage burst, took more than 20 seconds off Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows. At the front of the Group N field, Hannes Strobler and Dave McGregor were continuing to hold on to a lead of around a minute over Diffie Murray and Donny Duval, with the Cape pair now running out of special stages in which to try and make up significant inroads into the deficit. Cape youngsters Richard Bem and Jonathan Bright in the Opel Corsa were having a good run, and they moved up to 13th overall and were second to Murray and Duval in the Class N2. It was a good day for them, but for early Class A6 leaders Jürgen Faken and Dave Lukowitz, now running at the back of the field, the news was not so good.
Since this morning, the first stage, we had the misfire we had yesterday, and we couldn't find the problem. After each stage, we replaced something else, new distributor, new fuel injectors, nothing worked. And every now and again, we've got the misfire again, so we're just trying to get to the end.
It was back to series for special stage 18, with the gap between Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide and Hubig and Judd still hovering around the mid-20-second bracket. An unusual race cam view of Yanni Hubig and Douglas Judd at work in the factory VW Golf, with the Sassel Ford pair of Paolo Piazzamusso and Nick Haddon now firmly in control of third place. Special stage 18 also drew a large crowd of locals, but with problems with timing clocks, the organisers had to later exclude the stage from the official scoring. Still trailing by more than 20 seconds, Hubig and Judd had still not thrown in the towel.
Keep on trying hard, but in case Serge makes a mistake or something goes wrong, so that we're near enough to do something.
And drama there was. Damso and Bonafide lost 20 seconds to Hubig and Judd in the special stage 20, and the gap between the Castrol Toyota Conquest and the VW Golf was now just 7 seconds, with Hubig and Judd hampered by a door that came a little unstuck in the special stage. With no pressure on them, Paolo Piazzamusso and Nick Haddon were cruising along in third place, with Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding now fourth and in control of Class A7. Hannes Strobler and Dave McGregor were also cruising towards the Group N win, with Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper third in Group N and up into the top 10. With the car refusing to start at the beginning of stage 20, Damso and Bonafide picked up a 20-second penalty.
We booked in late 2 minutes, so that cost us 20 seconds, so we gave away 20 seconds, so now it looks like it's only about 8 or 7 seconds difference.
The final special stage on the outskirts of Paarl in high drama, with Yanni Hubig and Douglas Judd having to make up 6 seconds on Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide. It was asking a bit much of the VW crew, and they managed only a 2-second gain in a tremendous finale. It was also the final throw of the dice for Barry Hrobler and Mike Burrows and Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen in Group N, with both crews also losing out. Win number 2 this season for Damso and Bonafide, but it couldn't have been closer. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding took Class A7, and Craig Trott and Brian Duncan Class A6. A great effort from Hrobler and McGregor to finish 6th overall, taking Group N and Class N3 honours. Class N2 went to Murray and Duval, and N3 to the young Alan Worms and Ashley Ferricker.
Yanni Hubig gave us a hard time, and if you look at through the 2 days, 26 seconds, but you know, it was a tight, and finishing 4 seconds last stage, it's anyway, I'm glad it's finished.